Alright, so welcome back to another video, you idiots. So today, AUT updated and added 4 new specs. This will be an easy and fast guide on how to obtain these specs. There's a lot to get into, so let's get started right away and waste no more time. So first of all, this update added 3 Hamon variants as well as a vampire spec. First, I'll be showing you how to get all 3 Hamon variants, then I'll show you how to get vampire. So first, to get any other Hamon style, you need base Hamon, which you can get if you come over to where I am going and getting the quest for it. The quest will ask you to defeat hooligans, which are a new form of thugs you can find at the port. The port is where the desert used to be.
Later.
So after you defeat the hooligans, he will ask you to defeat normal thugs. And when you're done killing the thug, the man has the audacity to ask for a frog, which spawns around the map. So after you give him a frog, he gives you an item which you can use at the boss altar to spawn him in. Then you gotta beat the shit out of him, and once he dies, you will get base Hamon. So congrats, now you have achieved the first thing you need to get either Joseph or Jonathan Hamon. Now from here on out, it's gonna get so much worse. I'm not joking. These specs are so time-consuming to get. Anyway, I'll be showcasing all the specs at the end of the video, but for now, let's see how you can get Jonathan Hamon. First up, come over to the port and talk to this guy and teleport to the mansion. For both styles of Hamon, there will be 2 different NPCs you need to talk to. For example, if you want to get Joseph Hamon, you must talk to Speedwagon and do his quest. If you want Jonathan Hamon, you must talk to Zeppeli. Both of these quests are the exact same. You need to beat 15 hooligans with base Hamon and give the quest giver 375k U coins. Finishing the quest will allow you to talk to the NPCs for their styles, Jonathan and Joseph. So if you want Joseph Hamon, do Speedwagon's quest. If you want Jonathan Hamon, do Zeppeli's quest. But here I'm skipping over to where I go take Jonathan's quest, which is to defeat zombies using base Hamon outside of Dio's mansion.
Later.
So after this, Jonathan asks you to 1v1 him and gives you an item which you use to spawn him at the boss altar. You guys gotta keep in mind that every time the quest requires you to spawn in a boss, you need 500k U coins. It's so annoying to grind that much every time since I'm broke, so this video took way longer than usual. But anyway, you gotta beat up Jonathan and he will drop his gloves, which you return to him. Then he asks you to spawn in another boss, Dio Brando, which you need to kill in order to obtain Jonathan Hamon. I didn't do that though because I didn't want to farm another 500,000 U coins in order to spawn in Dio Brando. It's just amazing how we can't have even one quest that doesn't require U coins. Anyway, let's move on to how you can get Joseph Hamon. First up, you need to have done Speedwagon's quest, and now you need to defeat another 15 hooligans with base Hamon. After you do that, you need to find Joseph his cracker volleys and an AJA stone which spawn around the map. Luckily, I had a couple of 10x item crates which I used to get every item required for the quests. And by the way, make sure to have the item in your inventory, not in your hands, for it to be used for the quest. Oh, and you also need to find a Caesar headband in order to get the item which you need to progress the quest. After you give Joseph the headband, he will challenge you to a fight. And all you gotta do is go to the boss altar, spawn him and fight him. After you beat him up, you will get an item which you return to Joseph in exchange for the Hamon style. Also keep in mind to always have base Hamon when you talk to these NPCs, or else they won't want to talk to you. Another thing to keep in mind is that only the person who spawns the bosses can get the reward. No one else can. Alright, so the final and the easiest spec to get this update is the vampire spec, which only requires 2 items. All you gotta do is get the quest from Dio Brando over here, then find a vampire mask that spawns around the map as well as a blood vial. After you found both of these items, keep them in your inventory and give them to Dio. He then combines the items and gives you an infused vampire mask which you can use to get vampire. And boom, you now have vampire easy as cake. That's all you really need to know about how to get the new specs in this update. This update has got me suffering of how much you need to grind U coins and item spawns. But before I end the video, I'll be showcasing all of the new specs. So let's get started.
ち君がとせいこれだこれだこれだくお試してみろ波紋を込めてとおせいこれだとおせいこそこだ叩き壊してやるぜブルエルとハート燃え尽きるほどヒート刻むぞ血液のビートサンライトイエローオーバードライブ無駄無駄くわマヌ貧弱そげ帰ってろ光霊東宝無駄普通は与えん来いちょいとでも俺にかなうとでも思って間抜けがしもべとなるんだハモン私の手品だぶっ飛ばしてくれるするやくらえこの野郎クラッカーボライ泣いてやるぜさえやがれ貸してみろリバックオーバードライブ受けてみるかすげえだろ